Good morning, my fellow citizens. Today I wish to call upon the authorities and the police service to cease and desist from the unjustified and unnecessary harassment of Mr. Sat Maharaj. Whilst we categorically condemn the statements made by Mr. Maharaj on Tobago and do believe he should apologize for the stereotyping and broad brushing of an entire island with generic declarations, we still live in a Western liberal democratic society with a living constitution and not in an authoritarian dictatorial police state. There's no doubt that this is an attempt to use the Sedition Act against Mr. Maharaj in a malicious and vindictive way and designed to teach Mr. Maharaj a lesson. His statements, though obscene and crude, did not display any deliberate intent to incite treason or lesser commotion or disturbance against any public authority, generate disaffection against the Constitution, create ill will among the different classes of the population, incite or produce lawless action or violence against any segment of this population. His statements were tasteless in my view, but certainly were not seditious. In fact, the actions of the police seem to be extremely selective in its judgment as to what constitutes sedition, since worse have been said by politicians, calypsonians, and radio talk show hosts, many who would have stereotyped races and religions without limit. There are actually some radio talk show hosts who perpetuate a particular agenda, which can best be described as contentious and racial, and still continue on air without any hindrance. The police service needs to indicate on what grounds Mr. Maharaj was chosen to be investigated for sedition, and who determined that the visit to his radio station be undertaken. One would hope that the separation of powers and the independence of the police service will always be maintained, and there is never any political interference in the decisions of the police service. Or worse yet, individual officers taking it upon themselves to be guided by public reaction or their own personal point of view. The statements of Mr. Maharaj were a vulgar generalization of the people of Tobago, but to say that it was seditious is laughable and comical, since many calypsonians, radio talk show hosts, and politicians will also have to be charged with sedition. Issues such as these are social and cultural, not necessarily illegal, and must be dealt with as such. With the state of crime in Trinidad and Tobago, I certainly do think that the police service has a lot more pressing matters to deal with, rather than to focus on Sat Maharaj.